Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk about something that might please quite a lot of you. On Discord, I received countless spams of people asking me when the new tier 10 collectible, when the new tier 10 premiums are going to hit the shop, regardless of if they're new or old. For example, last time it was the AMX30B because Wargaming announced the new legendary camouflage, so everybody went in my DM saying, hey Pantoufleee, do you know when the AMX30B is going to be on sale, etc. And today, I have some good news because the AMX M454, the tier 10 French heavy or super heavy tank, I should say, is coming back soon in the shop. I don't know the exact date and I apologize for this, but I just wanted to do a video for you to know if yes or no you wanted to hold your gold and your money in order to get that tank. Unfortunately, the tank is coming back in crates, with charms obviously, but in crates. 5.5 euros a crate, the regular one like we had with the Object 907. And you will have to gamble through 25 different crates in order for you to get it guaranteed. And if you're lucky enough to get it on your first 2 or 3 crates, maybe, who knows, then congratulations, you just got yourself one of the most broken tanks you can find at tier 10. But what makes this tank you're seeing right there completely broken? In my opinion, it's a combination of 3 factors. The first is the armor profile. That thing is just a beast at bouncing shots. Nobody can penetrate this area. They can penetrate this cupola, not this one. And here, your whole hull is protected by a huge layer of armor. The only possibility for you to penetrate the tank is shooting at the lower part of the hull. So only half the hull is getting penetrated because here it's above 300 millimeters of penetration. So yeah, in definitive, you get yourself one of the strongest frontal armor you can get at tier 10. But keep in mind something. This armor is working only when you're in front of your opponents. Don't try to angle your tank at all because otherwise you're going to get destroyed because, yeah, after all, it's thin paper on the side and the rear. Now, the second thing is the mobility, which is just impressive with this tank. It truly feels more like an AMX50B kind of mobility rather than something like an E100 or a 60 TP. You go fast, you go in position extremely fast, you will be able to hold the line until your comrades come with you. So in definitive, this is just a really versatile tank when it comes to the mobility. And finally, the gun. The gun is just awesome in this thing. 4.4 seconds of aim time, which is kind of bad in my opinion, but this is the only thing that sucks. 0.31 of gun dispersion, it's just amazing. The DPM 2.5k is good. 11.3 seconds of reload. 260 with your regular shell as a penetration, 310 with your gold, and 480 average damage. So here you get yourself one of the craziest alpha damage you can find on a tier 10 tank. And most of the time, this little average damage is going to climb up to more than 500 every single shot. So every, let's say, 11.3 seconds, because you already have one reloaded, you can inflict 1k damage to your opponents, meaning that this thing is a DPM beast. On top of that, 8 degrees of gun depression, allowing you to be versatile on pretty much every single terrain. I mean, when you take a look at it, it doesn't have any downside at all. Now, concerning the equipment, I'm not going to bother explaining to you why I'm equipping those, but this is pretty much how I'm equipping mine, and it works perfectly well. So guys, for this review, I would like to introduce you to 2 different replays in which we are going to see the 2 different playstyle of the AMX M454. The first one is going to be the coward one, and by that I don't mean that we're going to camp, do not worry, but we're going to try to use more of the mobility rather than the armor. And to do that, it's simply a peekaboo situation in which you will probably brawl against a lot of tanks, but you're going to see. Basically, what I'm doing at first is side scraping with the tank. And first of all, I just want to highlight to you how the tank renders when you're side scraping. You need to side scrape like I'm side scraping right now. If you side scrape too much, more than this angle right there, you will get penetrated. Because here, if people are shooting at the lower part of the hull, they can penetrate. But if they shoot at the side armor or even the small angled part at the front, there are high chances for them to bounce. So keep in mind that with this tank, you don't over side scrape like an Ice 4, otherwise you're gonna get wrecked. So there we go, E100 already bouncing on our hull because, as I told you, we have just an impressive amount of armor. And now we're using the mobility. Just take a look at this. We were the first one to get on the battlefield. We were the first one to hit our targets because we were the first one out of all the tanks, enemies and teammates included, to reach our position on the battlefield. And this is what is lovely about the AMX. And now all I'm doing is literally side scraping. I don't need to take shots. And I see that my teammates took some shots, but I kind of don't care. It's their fault if they're not even trying to side scrape or such. So I'm keeping my hit points, I'm holding them until I'm 100% sure that I can push to be able to be effective on the battlefield. So there we go, we are moving away, and just take a look at how fast I managed to go backward in order to save myself some precious hit points against the E100. This was just dope. And now there is the second E100 that can't penetrate me. You saw what he did? He tried to see where he could penetrate without using gold shell. It's impossible. If you face hug with this tank, the AMX M454, and people don't want to use gold shells, they can't penetrate you. I'm not even sure, but I don't think like even a Hori can't penetrate you if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. Gotta check this one. But for the rest, it's just an impressive pack of armor and mobility. And I'm just amazed at how armored that thing is considering its mobility, because usually when you have a great armor profile you're supposed to go slow, etc, etc, and here it's not the case. It's literally like you took an E100 and you put 1,000 or 2,000 more horsepower on top of it just to make it relevant and to make it go fast on the battlefield. So there we go, we sneak a shot, but unfortunately the K91 took it straight into his gun. It's not going to be a problem because our friend is going to kill the Sheridan and we only have to deal with a Progetto. And you're gonna see how funny it is to play this tank using the mobility when you're facing off a medium. Because right now the Progetto is killing the K91, and you might think, okay, now that he's gonna kill the K91, he's probably gonna be able to circle me and it's done for me. Like, you perma track me and it's over, right? But it's impossible. An AMX M454 is not considered to be a heavy tank when it comes to tactics like circling. You literally have the mobility of a medium, so the Progetto can't. It's impossible for him to circle me. Therefore, it gives me a huge advantage. Just take a look at that. The Progetto wanted to pick on us, and we got faster backward than he was forward. And this is where the magic of this tank happens. Here, unfortunately, HE missed, but that's the price to pay, I guess. And it's not a problem. We're already at 5.4k damage. We only had to deal with the Progetto. We're going to try to get him here. We can't, so we bait him. We sneak to an HE, bang. We get the shot straight in, and we get ourselves 2 kills and a crazy first-class medal. I was about to say first-class mastery, but that doesn't mean anything. And just take a look at the number of credits you're doing with this tank on top of that, because I forgot to talk about it, but you have a premium credit coefficient, which implies that you are going to do shit tons of credits with it. And this tank is supposed to be one of the most wanted in Blitz simply because of that, because of all the combination of all those factors. So here you saw, we stayed in the back, kind of. We used our mobility, and when we had to push, we did. But we did not waste our hate points for nothing. Now let's take a look at a replay where we brawl really hard. Now guys, on Port Bay, things are gonna get a little bit interesting. Simply because you know probably my tactic on this map. I like to play aggressively because I have the perfect position in order to hold against the enemies, as long as they go on the right side, obviously. But you're gonna see that my teammates are not necessarily the greatest when it comes to helping me, but do not worry guys, we are playing a broken tank, and on top of that we're playing a broken tank that has a lot of armor, and it's truly gonna make a difference. So there we go, Vickers, FV and Progetto are already in place, and you're gonna see how lucky the Progetto was right there, straight into my weak spot on the lower part of the hull. It's not a problem, I pushed forward, and if you take a look at it right now, taking a look at the map, you see that all my teammates stopped before, like goddamn campers. Just take a look at that. TVP's here. 268 is not gonna move. IS-7 is gonna stop here. Vickers here, and 263 as well here. So in definitive, I'm completely alone. And when you're alone, usually you get pushed, right? But not the AMX M454, because the AMX 54 is too strong to get pushed. So The only problem right now is that as I'm completely alone, I gotta be careful about something called the side armor of the turret. Because even if your armor is quite strong when you put it straight in front of your opponents, when you angle it just a little bit against one enemy, you can get penetrated easily. So there we go, we're gonna try not to push too much because otherwise we are gonna get destroyed, and we're gonna try to sneak some shots on the IS-7. And for the moment it's working perfectly fine. As long as nobody is able to penetrate me and they don't push, I can just hold the line. And I'm literally holding against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, against the whole team. I'm literally holding against the whole team. And it cost us some hit points, right? Because we already lost half our hit points. But it's not a problem. It's not a problem because we sneaked a great HE on the Progetto, but also because they are kind of scared. They know they can't push. They know it because if they knew they could, they would have already done it. They would have pushed me because, after all, I'm alone. The FV4202 just has to turn around me, switching to Hesh Shell to be able to destroy me easily. Same for the IS-7. But they are not trying it. They are not trying it because they know what comes after, and it's death. So you see that instead of pushing me, they decided to come back to the rest of their team and to be able to circle and get the TVP that right circle for no reason. And it's gonna help us. It's gonna help us a bit because the IS-7 is running away like, no, please AMX, don't kill me. And boom, it's over for you. And in definitive, I hold the ground like maybe 2 minutes, not necessarily only by myself. I got helped a little bit. I understand that, and I totally agree with you. But hey, at least, guys, we managed to get ourselves into a brawling position, and we did not die trying to push forward, which makes this tank a crazy one to play aggressively, to be effective on the battlefield, but to have an active playstyle, let's say it like that. And this is what makes it interesting, because not only is it a good tank, it's also a really enjoyable one. So in definitive, maybe it would be a good idea for you to try your luck on the AMX M454, because I'm 100% sure that Wargaming is not going to give it out completely for free, or at least through direct bundles with gold or money, simply because they know how powerful this thing is. The only problem it has is this ugly legendary camo that Wargaming went for. But yeah, as they did a completely broken French tank, I can't blame them. I can't blame them. Thank you, Wargaming, for introducing one of the most broken tanks at tier 10, by the way. So there we go. We got ourselves 4.4k damage. Once again, 2 kills, a victory, and on top of that, a lot of credits. And this is what makes this tank lovely. We played a lot with Cold Shell, and we still managed to get ourselves 100,000 credits. So yeah, if you have the possibility of spending some on the AMX, I feel like it would be a good idea. But do not put yourself in debt just over a virtual tank, because after all, this tank is really good, but if you don't know how to play it, then you can throw the whole tank away. Bye.